y'all, I'm feeling comfy and cozy, so let's go ahead and get started on this baked potato soup. I've got a large pot here heating over medium-high heat, and I've added a little bit of olive oil to it, and I've got 12 pieces of turkey bacon that I'm gonna add to the pot. I've got my kitchen shears here. I'm just gonna cut the turkey bacon into about 1/4-inch pieces, and you could easily use regular bacon. In fact, I go back and forth all the time with what I use. I use regular bacon all the time. I just happen to have turkey bacon, so that's what I'm using today. They both taste great in this soup. Perfect, now I'm just gonna stir it up and allow it to brown at the bottom of the pan. So I wanna cook this over medium-high heat for several minutes. I want it to get it nice and brown and crisp. I want it to fully cook through, get nice and crispy, nice and flavorful, and really fill up this whole pot with all that bacon flavor. So I'm gonna let this go for a few minutes here. All right, this bacon is nice and crisp now. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove it from the pot. And if I was using regular bacon, I would drain it over paper towels right now just to remove some of that excess grease. But turkey bacon really doesn't have that much fat, so it's really unnecessary. I'm just gonna remove that from the pot and set that aside. We'll be adding that back in later. And now I've got 2/3 cup of a good quality grass-fed butter going in. I'm just gonna let that melt here. And the great part is all of that flavor from that turkey bacon is now in the pot. There's still little bitty bits in here, so good salty flavor in there. Oh gosh. A little splash of butter never hurt anybody. All right, so my butter is all melted. To this, I'm gonna add 2/3 of a cup of a good quality organic all-purpose flour. So what I'm gonna be making is a roux. I wanna add this in here and immediately start whisking it together as it thickens, so no lumps and clumps happen. Just keep that continuous whisk going on. Now you can also use arrowroot flour. In fact, I use arrowroot flour all the time in this recipe. I go back and forth. It really just depends on my mood, but this is a little bit more of a classic roux and that classic thick potato soup. This looks perfect. This is exactly what you want. Nice and thick. A little bit of that brown color coming through. Awesome. Okay, great. So now we're gonna add in 7 cups of almond milk. And I wanna continuously whisk while I slowly pour this in. Nice and slow. Super slow, let it thicken up. And I wanna continuously whisk, do not stop. You don't want any lumps here. Perfect. So just keep that whisk moving. And that roux is gonna thick up that almond milk. And again here, there's so many variations. You can easily just use a regular milk or a mixture of milk and cream. You could try oat milk, anything that's unflavored, that doesn't have like a vanilla taste or anything. You can experiment and use that. I just happen to have almond milk, so that's what I'm using. Makes the soup just a touch lighter. Okay, so I'm just gonna let that kind of start to heat up and thicken up. Perfect, so now I'm gonna add in my potatoes, of course, the star of the show. So I've got 4 large potatoes that I peeled and cubed. I'm just gonna throw them in now. Whoop! Splash zone. Great. All right, now I'm gonna add in 5 spring onions. I love these things. They're just so vibrant and bright, and they add that unmistakable flavor to this soup. So I've got 5 right here. I'm gonna cut off the ends, throw them into my chicken bowl. Everybody around here, meaning all the animals, get very excited when I'm cooking because they know that all the leftover veggies and fruits get thrown in the chicken bowl and they're coming their way. So as soon as I finish, I'll bring them all the scraps. Everybody gets so excited. Perfect. Just gonna go right in there. Give that a little stir. Okay, now I've got 2 cups of vegetable broth. You could use chicken broth as well. You could also just use filtered water, but I love that flavor that broth adds to this soup. So I'm gonna add that in. stir everything in together. All right, so now I'm just gonna throw the lid on and allow the soup to come to a rapid boil. All right, the soup is rapidly boiling. Oh, it smells so good already. I just wanna give it a little stir. And then I'm gonna turn the heat down to medium-low, put the lid back on, and I'm gonna allow this soup to simmer for about 30 to 40 minutes. And at that point, it'll be done. Now, every now and then I wanna come back to the pot, just give it a little bit of a stir. And as you stir, you can start to feel those potatoes breaking up and thickening into a soup. You can kind of help that process along by pushing the wooden spoon against the potatoes, against the side of the pot, and help it to kind of break up and thicken. We're almost there, y'all. All right, y'all, my baked potato soup is simmering behind me. So now it's time to get started on the perfect sidekick, the absolute best pairing with this baked potato soup, which is my Cheddar Chive Biscuits. Because I'm sorry, if you're gonna have a bowl of soup, you must have a bread item to dip it in there, right? I mean, to me, it's a requirement. It's an unspoken rule that must be followed. So, my Cheddar Chive Biscuits are absolutely perfect to dunk into this soup. I like it because they're really simple and easy and quick to throw together, very minimal ingredients, which makes them really healthy and clean and low in carbs if that's something that you care about. And they're also just full of flavor and just really light and fluffy and just perfect to dip into soup. So, let's get started. I've got 1/3 cup of grass-fed butter. I measured it solid and then I melted it. I also let it cool for just a couple minutes, so now it's kind of at room temperature. That way it will not scramble the eggs. So I'm gonna throw that into a small mixing bowl. I've got 2 free-range eggs that I will add in. Perfect, I'm just gonna beat these together. Perfect, so now in a separate mixing bowl, I've got 2 cups of almond flour, which just happens to be the almond flour that I made last week when I shared the pumpkin spice coffee creamer recipe. So 2 cups of almond flour, I'm gonna add to this 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Teaspoon of salt. 1/2 cup of a nice shredded cheddar cheese, which really just make these, so good. And then the other star of the biscuits, some chives. I got about 2 tablespoons of chives. I'm just gonna use my kitchen shears to cut these babies up and throw them right in. Awesome. I'm just gonna mix these dry ingredients together here. Make sure everything's nice and incorporated. Mainly that baking powder and salt. Wanna make sure that's all evenly distributed in here. Perfect. Okay, and now I'm gonna add in my wet ingredients into the dry. And you can use a mixer here, you can use a spoon, but I really think that hands are the best tool for this specific dough. I mean, you can use this rubber spatula even, but sometimes hands are just your best tool. So, roll up your sleeves, roll up your scrunchies, and get in here. Okay, great. So this dough has really come together nicely, but as you can see, it's a really, really wet dough. So I just wanna pull it together into a ball, and then I'm gonna throw it into the fridge for about 30 minutes. If you wanna cheat, which I think I'm gonna do, throw it into the freezer for just a few minutes, because sometimes you just can't wait for biscuits. So, in a ball, let's chill it, and then it'll be easier to roll out in a second. All right, y'all, this soup has been simmering. It is starting to fill up the house with those aromas, but gotta add a few more things back in. So we've got our bacon that we made earlier. That goes right back in. I went ahead and turned off the heat because it is cooked as much as it needs to. I've stirred it consistently, and I know that those potatoes have started to break up. So bacon goes in. I've got a cup of frozen spinach that I've let thaw. A 1.25 cups of a good quality shredded cheddar cheese. I mean, you can't have baked potato soup without cheese, let's be real. Teaspoon of salt. Teaspoon of pepper. And this ingredient is totally optional. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. It makes the soup a little more rich, a little more tangy, and a little more decadent. And today, I'm in a decadent mood, y'all. So I'm gonna be adding in a cup of organic sour cream. It really just thickens it up, gives it that unbeatable, unmistakable flavor, and it does wonders for this soup. But like I said, sometimes I don't use it. It just really depends on my mood. It's a little lighter without it, I'll just say that. Give everything a really, really, really good stir. Let that sour cream break up. And the heat that's already in the pot is plenty. Like I said, I turned the heat off. The heat in here is melting that cheese. It's melting that sour cream. Oh my goodness, y'all, this seriously smells so good. My biscuits are almost done, couple more minutes there. I am ready to bowl this baby up and have a little dunky dunk with those biscuits. All right, y'all, the time has come. The biscuits are ready. They are perfectly golden brown. It smells so good. You can smell the butter first, which can't go wrong with that. You can smell the cheddar cheese and the chives. Oh, it smells so good, y'all. And let these cool for a couple of minutes. Okay, now the time has come to bowl it up and give everything a try. I am so excited about this. This creamy potato soup. I literally cannot wait, y'all. Please look at this. Oh my gosh. And of course, gotta top it with a little more cheese, a little more turkey bacon, a few more spring onions here. And look at this. Look at this meal. Does this not scream fall, winter comfort? I'll be eating this combination all fall and winter long. It is just the perfect meal on a day like today. You wanna get cozy, you wanna get comfy, warm and comforting. Okay, here we go. Taste test time. Woo! Y'all, I literally can't. I literally can't. Okay, a little biscuit, a little dunk. Dunkarooski, they're still a little hot, but you gotta dunk it. No. Oh, a slam dunk, literally. I honestly can't. This is the best. You'll have to make these biscuits. You have to make this potato soup with it. In honor of Spud and biscuits, they would be so proud. If they could, they'd be gobbling this up right now. I think I did them proud today. I think I did Spud and biscuits proud. Cheers, y'all. Health is where the heart is.